thank you all. It really means a ton to see you guys here tonight. How often do we get to have a gathering that is celebrating calligraphy and illumination? It's a pretty rare, exceptional event, and to be able to share it with all of you is incredibly meaningful to me. I call myself a dinosaur, and sometimes it feels like a pretty lonely road. So to know that, that's really not the case, that there's lots of wonderful people also interested does my dinosaur heart good. This opportunity to explore non-European manuscripts with the support of the Southern New England Apprenticeship Program has opened our eyes to beautiful historic manuscripts that we never knew existed. And some haven't even been really discovered until lately. A huge thank you as well to the apprenticeship program, which is allowing us to not just be a group of 2 or 3 people, but allowing us to be a group of 8. This is kind of unusual to have a group like this. We've dubbed ourselves the Scriptorium, hoping to capture the idea of the interplay, the dynamic that comes with working together as a community. We learned from each other, we encouraged each other, and expanded our horizons dramatically by sharing our research and sharing our discoveries. This was not a one-way process where information was coming from Debbie and going out. It's where these guys were sharing resources and ideas and concepts, because exploring non-European manuscripts was not easy. I can go to almost any library anywhere and can find a stack of manuscript books like this for Europe. And if I'm lucky, there might be a dozen images from non-European locations. So it's been a process just figuring out where to go, where to find information, where do we go and view manuscripts, how can we find that? So it was a process of discovery, just figuring out where to go. Our goal for the Scriptorium was simple, was to build our illumination skills. Become more comfortable with our nibs, our gouache, our brushes, our layout and design. What were we going to study in order to do that? Clearly, we're a diverse group. And that's been exciting and challenging all at the same time. How do we cross that so that way everybody has something that is meaningful for them to share and learn about in the process, right? And that was part of my problem, is that I've been teaching illumination for now 5 or 6 years. And my intro to illumination class only has European sources. And I was like, Europe isn't going to appeal to everyone in the group. So how do we bridge that gap? Because to me, what's important about learning illumination skills is that everybody can go out there and create something that is meaningful to them, not just be able to mimic something that's been done in the past. Okay. So the big question is, so what to study? And let me just take a quick step back, because to me it's very, very, very special that we are here at the Granby Library, because it is this library community, this collection, and this library staff that was the seed for this experience. This book is available in the children's section, and it's Schomburg, the Man Who Built a Library. And it's a book about Arturo Schomburg. He was a black boy growing up in Puerto Rico before he came to the United States. And when he was in elementary school, in his history lesson, he asked one day his teacher where people like him were. And the response he got from his teacher was that they hadn't done anything worth being in the books. Can you imagine how painful that comment must have been? I mean, blessedly, he took that pain and was motivated by it. And instead of accepting that as the truth, that became his life mission to find evidence of all the things his ancestors and people like him had done. And so he collected books and researched, and he discovered how amazingly wrong his teacher was, you know. And that's the thing that I love about our community that we have here at the Granby Libraries. This book came in during Joan Beatson's time. She just retired last week, so it was very sad to see her go. But if you have not discovered how amazing children's books, especially nonfiction children's books, are, please do. Even as an adult, they are fantastic. You know, for yourself, for your children, for your grandchildren. The nonfiction books in children's libraries are out of this world. They're nothing like it was when I was a kid. And I think that this is just one example of the important role that libraries play in sharing and broadening our horizons. Okay. Sorry, thank you for that detour. In the world of, you know, what's been happening in the libraries and book censorship today, I just really had to go on that little detour. But the important part about this Schomburg book for me that Ben and I read, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, was that it planted a seed. And it helped me realize that maybe my education was incomplete. And that I had been missing some really, really wonderful things because of my Eurocentric education and upbringing. It also introduced me to the concept of whitewashing, where even an accomplishment by a person of African descent is presented as an accomplishment by a white person. And conveniently, the color of the skin or the background of the person is ignored. And that was something that even I was so grateful for, to have my awareness higher, so that way I could be aware of when that was happening. Another critical piece that nourished this idea of a global scriptorium came from Aisha Edwards. Aisha's in the long blue. During the pandemic, everybody here, all of us, worked on our calligraphy journey in some fashion. And even some of you out there have been with me in those online classes, in-person classes at Seabury, and have done some exploration of the calligraphic arts. Sue, Asa, and Lavell happened to be in an illumination class together. Now, thankfully, during that illumination class, Aisha asked if the homework assignment had to be, she had to use the inspiration I provided. And of course, I mentioned earlier, my inspiration was all European-based. Which, of course, I was like, no, you do not have to follow my example, you know. And I'm so glad she didn't, because so this is what came back. And this was the first time, because the class was online, this was the first time today that I've actually seen this piece. And remember, I've only seen it on a computer screen like this. So to actually be able to see Aisha's piece that was a homework project that emerged out of the illumination class was really meaningful to me because